All right, my friends, happy Monday. High performance habits, day 10. We're almost there, home stretch. This section talked about in that audiobook the high performance killers. So we covered the 6, and now we're covering the things that kill it, kind of the traps, right, to avoid. So number 1 was superiority, dissatisfaction, and then neglect. So superiority, I have a quote here that I liked. I've rarely met a high performer who thinks they are at the top. Most feel like they are just getting started. So I thought that was pretty telling, kind of cool, especially considering some of the clients that he's worked with and stuff. So, and then the performance prompts for superiority, again, I answered them the way that I would, kind of for food for thought for you here. So, number 1, a recent situation where I found myself being overly critical or dismissive of others was this is work situation. So ideas that a contractor came in that he had some previous experience with a product that I had deployed and configured. And we worked out the procedures and all that stuff, right? And so he came in, and this wasn't our hire, from a totally different team, came in with his kind of ideas and thoughts on it. So, honestly, I probably could have taken a little bit better, but anyways. Number 2, the thoughts I had about myself and the situation and others involved were, honestly, in my head, I kind of had like, who does this guy think he is, right? Number 3, had I reimagined the situation from a more humble and appreciative view, I would have realized that that he's probably really just trying to add value and to be a team player, to share kind of some of his experiences. And of course, he's not going to be aware of politics or anything like that, or, any office dynamics or anything like that. So, and then number 4, the best way I can remind myself that everyone is dealing with difficulties in life, and we're all more alike than we are different, is, and I always try and do this, try to see everything through their eyes, right? And believe that everybody has a good intention, right, from the beginning. So, not always an easy thing, really, right? Okay, and so then on to number 2, performance traps, killers, dissatisfaction. And so then I put some takeaways there: being dissatisfied with doing, and then love the process of practice becoming an incremental improvement, right? So I think that a lot of times we want quick success, right? And then when it doesn't happen and everything, we end up kind of getting dissatisfied with that, and then motivations kind of peter out, and then you do nothing, right? And so I think that's kind of like that for me anyways, kind of that dissatisfaction too, right? Is that I always have to be aware of that. So, and then just have gratitude, right? Towards, the progress that I am making, right? And then performance prompts for this area. So, the area of my life that I felt consistently dissatisfied with include, generally, I think my career and my business. And the reason that I say those is because I'm very driven, right? And that if I'm not moving forward and learning new things all the time and challenged, right? That's where kind of that dissatisfaction comes from. So number 2, some good things that also happened in those areas include, because of that drive, right? Consistent growth, change, which for me is good, right? I know a lot of people don't like change. I actually thrive on it. Influence, right? And developing influence for good, right? And then on the last thought that I had is empowering women in health versus aesthetics, right? In the areas of business and finance and stuff like that. So, I'm very much a proponent of that, right? My wife is an entrepreneur, right, and has has a small business and all that stuff. So and we work as a team, and so I think that's awesome. And like any sort of thing that I can do to drive that sort of thing, right, and to be an inspiration and empowering, right, and like the resources and like the steps and like the how-tos and all that sort of stuff. So anyways, next section here, number 3, something I can say to myself the next time I feel dissatisfied to get me to notice good things and continue to move forward. So read my book of proof, right? And so I don't have it with me here, but I have a whole journal, right? And so each time that that we do like these book clubs or anything like that, and then I'm contributing and adding value and stuff like that, right? And every time that I get a new customer, or if I have a business partner, somebody that's interested in creating an online income and stuff like that, and how to monetize their Instagram, all of those sort of things go into that book of proof. And so then I'm reading that every day. So then, when the time comes that I don't feel like taking action, or, I don't feel like I'm making progress, I can look back on that and I could read it and I say, yeah, I have come a ways, and there have been some wins. So, and then same sort of thing with reading my gratitude journal, right? So I write in a gratitude journal every morning. And I think I've told you before is, I'll go back through and read it and everything. And, I think that's so important to constantly have that focus, right, on everything that you have and what you're grateful for. Number 4, someone who probably sees me more dissatisfied than I want to is my wife, of course. Since we're like a team, we're always together. Number 5, if I were going to inspire that person to believe you can enjoy life as you work hard to succeed, work hard and succeed, I would have to change these behaviors. And so I I need to share my technical business decisions and give her veto power over any sort of social media post or anything like that. And then better communication when I'm feeling frustrated or annoyed or anything like that, right? So, I'll give an example here, right? That, if I'm preparing for a video or something like that, or, I'm in a mind state or whatever, and I get interrupted, sometimes that could be frustrating to me, right? And so, rather than just behaving frustrated, I could actually say, give me 5 minutes, let me finish this, and then we could talk, or something along those lines, right? Communication, right? I think there's always room for improvement there. So, all right, so we're on to the last section here. And if it'll let me scroll, I'm going to have to do some adjusting here. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I don't know how I'm going to move this here. All right, so hopefully you can see that here. I kind of had to adjust things. So the last one, neglect. And so I just filled out the performance prompts here. I don't know if I had particular takeaways. So performance prompts, if you wanted to answer these, number 1, an area where I'm neglecting someone or something important in my life is, and I score all of these things every week with that performance journal too that we had talked about previously. So probably family and friends, right? I think that, as you start to grow a business or whatever your ambitions are, right? It's important to keep focus on all those different areas, right? So you can realize that, oh, hey, I need to spend some quality time over here, right? Number 2, an area where typo there, that neglect will cause me regret later on in life is time is fleeting and moments are limited. The wording of that one's weird. I'm not exactly sure what that one, I probably did some typos there. I'll keep going. Number 3, an area where I can now return my focus, reallocating my attention to things that matter is my overall health. So not just like fitness or nutrition or anything like that, but managing stress, right? Like float therapy and some other different options, right? Some infrared sauna stuff, medical massage therapy, all that sort of stuff. So, and then relationships, right? Relationships are always important. They're everything, really. Number 4, some areas in my life where I feel overcommitted right now are, and that'd have to be work, right? There's a lot of projects going on right now and a lot of things moving around. So definitely more work than one person can handle. And then number 5, the things I need to learn to say no to more often are, and I had to think about this one a little bit. I think customers that really don't want to take the first step, right? Maybe they indicate that they want to, but then they really aren't willing to take that first step forward, right? Yeah. And then number 6, an opportunity I really want to choose right now that I could schedule to revisit in a month is there's a leadership certification by John Maxwell. Maybe you've read some of his leadership books and stuff like that. So he has a whole program that I've actually been considering for some time. So that's something that's interested me and that I'll continue to look into and have to make that happen sometime. So it's all about, you have to invest in your skills, right? The skills, like you talked about before, the skills that you're going to need, right? How do you grow those in books and, certifications and weekend events and stuff like that, right? So on number 7, the main things moving the needle forward towards my success that I should be focused on right now, despite all the other exciting, interesting opportunities I could chase are, number 1, content that will align and position me correctly going forward. All right. So as I start to create, vlogs and stuff like that, and podcast and everything, information that will position me correctly in order to grow my business. So that's number 1. Number 2, building relationships with like-minded people, right? Like we're doing in this group. Number 3, teaching people how to think by serving and adding value, right? So, along the lines of like what we're doing here with this book and everything, and originally, is going to be my takeaways with the workshops and stuff like that, right? For those of you that were in the previous group that we did, right, kind of my morning rituals and stuff like that, right? So that's that one. And then number 8, the final one here, the way that I'll remind myself not to take on too much is to keep my vision in front of me. And I put literally. So you can't see it here, but I have a whiteboard here that has my vision on it. So to do what I want, with who I want, when I want, and where I want, right? So that's kind of the whole vision of it, right? And then, to 5 business partners, right? And leaders that are ready to actually take action, right? And want similar things, right? That want to build a business, that want to build another source of income for their family, right? And I'm getting blinded here by the sun. Hold on a second, sorry. All right, see if that's better. Sorry about that. And then let's see here. Yeah, so and then I put opportunity that comes, ask myself, so if any opportunity that comes along, right, and I actually have some specific examples that I had in mind in this here that I'll evaluate those as to where I'm at right now, what is on my whiteboard, right, and does that line up? And if it doesn't, then as great as that opportunity sounds, it's not the right opportunity for me at this time. And so I've actually recently have taken those exact steps, right, to figure out like, okay, this is at one point in time, I probably would have pursued this path, but on the path that I'm at right now, it doesn't make sense for me anymore. So that's that. Those are the notes that I have. So I hope that my performance prompts here and the way that I answered them have helped serve you well and kind of give you something to think about. Again, as you're reading through the book, and I really encourage you to take a look at the performance prompts, write it out, right? What your responses are. And then if you want to share them with the group, that would be awesome. I think that'd be really helpful for everybody to kind of see not just how I'm answering them, but how your responses are and how you're answering them. So I think we have like one or two more sections on the podcast. We are really close to the end of the book. So you can see page 325. So almost done. And then we'll wrap it up, and hope this has served you well. I will try and I have a call on Wednesday, so it'll probably be closer to the end of the week, like Thursday, Friday-ish, before I upload the next one. So we'll have a little bit of time here. So I look forward to hearing from you. Again, I hope this serves you well, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.